Hello. In a week, you will see a few changes to the way batches function in ScanPower Boxt, primarily around shipment planning and batch management. Amazon's APIs will no longer allow live listing into shipments after December 31st. And because of this, we have delayed some of our changes until the end of Q4 in order to minimize the impact to you during this busy time. So the Selling Partner API, which is mandated starting January 23rd, included many updates to the APIs that were mostly behind the scenes. Some of those, though, impacted the FBA inbound process, and that's primarily the restriction that you can no longer add new items to an existing shipment. So the impact to sellers and 3PLs will be along the lines of live listing is only supported when adding the same item to an existing shipment. So you can increase or decrease the quantity, or you can delete items from shipments, but you won't be able to add, for example, a new pair of shoes to a shoe shipment if that MSKU isn't already in it. The second is they used to allow us to merge shipping plans that were going to the same fulfillment center, and that is no longer possible. So whatever shipping plan we get from Amazon, we have to honor that more or less in full. Third, sellers and 3PLs will need more tools and better tools for planning and manipulating batch items in order to optimize the size and the destination of the shipments, particularly LTL shipments, where partial pallets are expensive and a poor use of space and resources. Small batches and sellers who ship a lot of small parcel delivery may end up with more shipments going to the same destination. Again, this is the inability to merge, for example, two shipments going to IND 9 into the same shipment. So there'll be a less impact, but possibly more shipments created for the small parcel side. And then finally, for large batches with more than 200 MSKUs that are going to the same FC, those will be split into 2 or more shipments. So this doesn't mean that you need to limit your batches to 200 MSKUs, but it does mean that if you have 200 or more and 200 items go to the same FC, Amazon will create a new shipment. So those are the primary impacts that we see. We expect there will be some that we aren't aware of just because of the nature of Amazon FBA and how many different workflows sellers have. But we've made a number of changes to Boxt, and most of them fairly small, to improve your ability to manage shipment and batches and plan for this change. So the first thing that you'll notice when you create batches in Boxt after December 26th is instead of showing a list individually button, which used to be 2 arrows that cross to the right of the batch item, we will show a preview of where this item is going. Now, this item that we're looking at here is already in shipments, so this is not just a preview, but the actual destinations they went to. We'll also list beneath the quantity the breakdown of the splits if an item is destined for more than one FC. If it's just going to one FC, you'll see the quantity and the destination in the same way that you see it on the right here. So let's just walk through a couple of examples. We have a bunch of items on our buy list. These could just as easily be in a spreadsheet or just in inventory that we're restocking. But we'll import from the buy list and I'll just show you from these 45 items, we're going to generate a shipment preview. And this will allow you to plan for where the items are going. It will also surface errors that we might get in a shipment plan prior will now show right on the batch item immediately. And as you can see, for this batch, it's mostly clothes and shoes and a few books, um, and some groceries. It's almost all going to IND 9. And if you want to see the breakdown of the shipments, you can click the Create Shipment button, and that will immediately pop up because we've already gotten the plan for these items and show you the destinations. So this this batch is broken into 2 shipments, one to MDT2 and one to IND 9. And if you click OK here, we're going to immediately create the shipments for those. So the first feature we've added is this preview, allowing you to see ahead of time, print labels, and plan for where items are going before you create the shipments. Now, if we modify the quantity of items in a batch, say we add 4 more shoes, this shipment plan for all the items will need to be recalculated. So that'll happen automatically when you click Create Shipment Plan. And the new updated quantity will appear in the plan along with the original items. So there's no guarantee that the plan will stay the same when items are added to the batch or modified, but in our experience, they're generally the same. So the thing to look out for there is if for some reason you had a product that was already labeled and we included the FC Fulfillment Center destination on the label, and because the quantity changed significantly, that item either was split or changed its destination altogether, then you'd want to make sure you reviewed the shipment plan closely. So that's the first thing we've added, which we call the preview for shipment destinations. And then the second thing we've added is if an item is already in an existing shipment, you can you'll see a line here that it's in an existing shipment, and we'll give you the ability to push that to the existing shipment from this batch. So again, you'll see the destination here and add to an existing shipment with a enabled link instead of a disabled link like this. And then finally, we've made it much easier to move items in and out of batches using this bulk select. So you at the top here where it says select items, you toggle that, and once that's on, you can select multiple items, or shift select to select items between points where the mouse is. So you can effectively move items in and out of batches or POs at will. So in this case, maybe we want to clean up this batch and remove the items that have errors. So we'll click move and tell it to put it in a new batch, and then those 2 items are shifted out of the working batch into the new one. And it'll automatically deselect after you've chosen move or copy. And then finally, we're adding, probably towards the end of this week, a new summary at the top that will show you the cubic volume of the items in this batch so that you can better estimate how many pallets those items will fill. So this is more useful to people sending LTL shipments. But the idea is we'll calculate, based on the package dimensions and some defaults that you give us for your pallet height and utilization. So if you want to utilize 85% of each pallet, we'll use that utilization to tell you what percentage of a pallet is filled with this batch or pallets if it's more than one. So look for another video on that particular feature, which we're planning to release towards the end of the week. So these are definitely changes that we wish we didn't have to make, but I think in terms of the first two, giving you the shipment preview and allowing you to manage batches and ultimately shipments with the copy move functionality is going to be really useful. If there are suggestions or concerns that you have about these impacts, we would love to hear from you. I wanted to point out that we have live Q&A forums every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're also happy to share a screen or Zoom with you kind of on demand, especially as we approach the end of the year, where people are going to have concerns about how these changes impact them. So we're happy to do that as well. Thanks a lot for your time.